Hi guys, this is Raquel with Paintsandglitter.com. I want to thank you for joining me, and today I'm going to share a small project that I'm working on for an ATC swap. If you're not familiar with ATCs, they are artist trading cards. They've been around for quite a while, and they originally were a way of sharing business cards for artists, but it evolved into just something fun and quick to do to share your artwork. And today I wanted to show, actually they come in different mediums or different types of paper, but you can make your own, or you can get ATCs that come like this. For instance, these are for acrylic paint. So I just wanted to show you really quickly. They're really small. They're only 2.5 by 3.5 in size. And for instance, these are just little canvases that you can use. They're of good quality artist grade material. These are from Strathmore, but so anyway, I've made them in the past, and I decided to go ahead and participate in a group swap with Tamika, I believe. Yes, Tamika, and her Facebook page. I want to say it's Scrapdaworld, and it's my first time participating with them, and so I apologize if I said that wrong, but I think I can link them, so or her. So that's one. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I'm making mine, and it's a group of 5. So you make the same design for 5 different people, and then you trade, you get 5 other ones. So what I did was I went ahead and, because I want them to be sturdy, I cut out some chipboard in 2.5 by 3.5, and I just used my ruler and my blade. I call this a blade, but X-Acto knife, that's what people call it. So anyway, and then I cut out some elements, which I'm going to show you. I used the feather from Art Nouveau in Cricut Design Space, and I'll show you. It's funny, but I'm laughing because I made one and I really did not like the way it came out, even though it is maybe appealing to someone else, but for me, yeah, I'm not going with that. But I want to show you what I did use, which was I decided to cut this feather out in white cardstock, and as you see, it's quite detailed. It's pretty dainty, it's really beautiful, but because it is so dainty, I had to cut out the shadow. This isn't the shadow, actually, this is just the background, okay? So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to glue this first, and hopefully my adhesive works. This is always the fun part for me when I do videos, is that for some reason it's like my adhesive knows and it doesn't want to work, even though it works the great majority of the time. So this fine tip nozzle is really good for these little delicate pieces here, and I'm not going to be ultra careful, even though I normally would be, and I'll show you why in a minute. This kind of has a little bit of room for error, even though I don't want to be sloppy by any means. I would never encourage that, because I don't like messy work. I don't like to give it, and I don't like to receive it. So okay, so I'm just gonna line this up, and I'll show you what I will do next. Now, this is just how I like to work my, being that this is an ATC, an artist trading card, and the idea behind what an ATC is, my favorite thing to do is mixed media. So at first I was going to paint my own design. I've done that before, but the theme is, where are you from? And for me, that means a lot of things, but I wanted to keep it simple and just go with, where do I reside? And the longest place I've ever lived is in where I am now, which is upstate New York. So I'm saying that I am from upstate New York for the sake of the swap. And even though I was not born here, but anyway, that works because, like I said, it's the longest I've ever lived anywhere. And okay, so there's my feather on the background. What I will do next is that I cut out the layers, and here's what I did. I have some, this is actually premium outdoor vinyl in, I guess you would call this, well, it's silver, but it's, the color is more like aluminum. That's the word I was looking for. Okay, so I went ahead and cut it out of that because I wanted this to be a nice bright silver color. And this is almost like a mirror, if you see the shine there. Okay, so that's the layer that I'm putting there for this, it's a plume, it's a peacock feather. Then I went with this very light turquoise color next, and these are tiny little pieces, but I like to use tweezers to be able to line them up perfectly. And the adhesive that I'm using is good for multimedia, so it'll stay. And then this last piece here, it almost looks like a little upside down heart, which is kind of cute. So that'll go next, like so. And that little touch of black really just makes it pop. I love this. This feather is just, I think it's gorgeous. So I could have left it just like that, but what I did was that I added, let's see, I added glossy accents, and then on top of that glossy accents I added glitter. Then on top of that, it's a lot of layers here, I added cream colored enamel, which you could use either this brand Viva, or you can use the Ranger, what's it called? Ranger liquid pearls, yes, or the Nuvo drops. They all have a cream colored or pearlescent. This one's a pearl color. And then on top of that, I added glitter called Glamour Dust. So this is super, super glimmery. Okay, if you can see that. And not only that, but it has texture to it, and it's really thick now compared to where it began, which was this flat paper is now like this. Okay, and it did curl, and that's, that's part of what I wanted there. So the back of it is not, terribly attractive, which I'll probably back it up with another feather. I'm not quite sure yet if I'm going to do that. But in any case, this is how the feather looks now. And then what I did was I also cut out this doily. It's called Topper Octagon Doily, and I cut this out in black cardstock, and then I heat embossed it with a really beautiful, it's kind of like a silver and black embossing powder. I cut it again in white, and then this one I put tinsel glitter on. And I don't know if that picks up here. Let me see if I can make it closer there. So this just has tinsel glitter on, and I avoided the center on purpose because that's going to layer here. And then on top of that, I'm going to layer this little itty bitty piece of ephemera that I made with a print and cut in Cricut Design Space, and it's got glossy accents on top with a little bit of glitter, and I'm gonna try to see if I can zoom in on that. But it's an antique camera, which I embellished the actual image, and in any case I'll post pictures because my camera is not that great, so that's gonna go there too. And the reason being that in upstate New York, if you're at all familiar with this area, then you've probably heard of Kodak being the big company, and in this area. It was founded here, and so I went with an image that represented Kodak, which is this vintage picture of a young lady taking a selfie in what would have been a large mirror. and there she's holding that very camera that I went ahead and cut out separately. So anyway, I used print and cut from Design Space to cut this out, and then what I did was I embellished it, and let's see if this will pick up, but it's got little glass beads, and then I also embellished her little plume that she's wearing on her headdress there. And she's got a really beautiful, elegant dress there. So I'm going to put this together, but first I'm going to paint the outer edge of my chipboard so that it all ties in together. And I'm going to be using let's see here, this is a metallic paint by Martha Stewart in gold. So again, you know, paint is my favorite medium, so I'm going to start with that, and then I will put all of this together. Okay, so now I have my chipboard ready, and like I mentioned before, I went ahead and painted it, or I was going to paint it. So I did paint it in the gold acrylic paint around all of the edges, and of course most of this is going to be covered up, and as well as the back I will be putting my information there regarding the swap. And I had mentioned the feather that I didn't like, so here's my my reject feather. That's one that I thought I would do in silvers and blues, and yes, that chunky material that you see there on top is chunky glitter. Not the right thing to be using, so that's the one that I was laughing about, because I figured, in my opinion, it just wasn't it also has copper up here on the corner. I don't know, I was just like trying out different things and it didn't work. So anyway, that's in the reject pile. And okay, so I have adhesive on the back of my ladies here. So I'm going to go ahead, I already started peeling this off. I'm just using double-sided adhesive that will grip this paper very strongly. And I debated on putting Mod Podge on this image to seal it, but because I got ahead of myself, of course, and put the beads on, the glass beads and the glitter, I was not able to, you know, go back then and do the Mod Podge. So it's okay. I mean, this is all temporary, so I can't expect that everything will last forever anyway. But I did, the other thing that I did with this image was that I took a marker and I went around the edges with it just to give it, it has almost like a golden color on the edges as well. So what I want to happen here is I really do want this to adhere really well with that adhesive on here, even though it has paint. So in typical style, I will use my probably most prized tool here, which is my bone folder, because then I can apply pressure without damaging the image. And I'm just going around that border to make sure that it does adhere really well. And then I'll say a prayer and hope that it makes it to where it needs to go without coming apart. And yeah, you know what? Learn from my mistakes. I forgot to take the backing off, and that's why it wasn't coming along nicely, but that's okay. There's still time to fix this. And thank God for gadgets and tools. Okay, so this is going to be fine. I forgot to take that off. Here we go. Alright, so that's going to be just fine. I was blaming it on the paint, and it turns out that it was just me. Okay, so now what I want to make sure happens is that those edges are perfect. That's what I'm concerned about. Okay, so now it's stuck on there. I don't think it's going anywhere. There's my beginning. I also went ahead and got E600 adhesive. Now I opened this just a minute ago before I started filming and it opened up like a geyser. It scared the heck out of me. So I'm going to try to be very careful with that so that I don't ruin my project, but I have an idea of how I want this to go. So I have some here on a scrap piece of paper, and this stuff is kind of like, it's almost the consistency of hot glue. So I'm hoping that a little bit goes a long way, because I really don't want to use a lot of this. It smells horrid. It has more warning labels on it than alcohol, cigarettes, tobacco, and all of them combined. So just so you guys know, if you're pregnant, please do not use this adhesive. And woof, because I mean, I'm here and my glass door is open, and I can tell that by the end of this project, I'm gonna be a giddy mess. So okay, so I just applied it there on that half, like that, and it's going to overlap on my image, but that's what I want. And then I'm going to use the feather there. That was my idea anyway, was to do it there on the top, kind of popping out of there, and then this like so. And I hope that looks okay, because the image is quite vintagey and yellow, and this is all white. I guess I could have gone with cream colors or gold, but it's here and it's here to stay. So like I said before, the back of this is not looking all that great, so what I'm probably going to do is that I will cut out another one and maybe adhere it to the back before I put this down. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut some more of these and glue them to the back before I put this down, so that way it looks finished on the back, because if not, I won't be happy with it. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll continue adhering all of these. And what I'm going to do now is that I've decided how I'm going to package all of the ATCs and how I'm going to send them out. And I had planned on making little shaker bags to put them into, with sequins and that sort of thing, but my brand new fuse tool decided that it's not going to work. So even though I only ever used it once, it doesn't work anymore. So I had to come up with a different idea, and what I decided was that I still wanted to put them in clear bags, and I also wanted to send a little something extra, even though it wasn't part of the requirement that I can recall, but I wanted to go ahead and send some of these little words that I cut out in the outdoor vinyl. It's a really nice sturdy vinyl that you can use on anything, really. So I have that in silver and in gold, which both colors I thought kind of would go really well with the ATC and all that. So I cut those out, and you can put them on, they look really cute when you put them on different things. And those words are pretty, you know, popular, so I thought that would be great. And those were from Little Yellow Bicycle, is the die set. So if you're interested in that, that's the company that made that. And I also picked out some vellum that has glitter in it, because of course, you know, staying within the theme of representing my state, and we're supposed to also give information about our YouTube channel, so mine being Paints and Glitter, then I incorporated that into this little project as well. So what I did was I put the little words here to share, or the die cuts, and then I put the piece of vellum in the center here, because I had to come up with a different way of packaging this than what I had planned. And then I decided, here's, you know, the ATC, which I showed previously, all finished. I put the information on the back. So I used the print and cut from Cricut Design Space to add that, and it just says ATC swap, rep your state, Scrapdaworld, August 2017. And what I wrote was, this represents upstate New York, home of business mogul George Eastman, founder and president of Kodak, pioneer in photography. And as for my style, class and elegance, my love, mixed media, my name is Raquel, also known as Paintsandglitter.com. So I put that there because you can access the my YouTube videos through my blog, so I just kept it simple that way. So all of that's there, and then what I did was I flipped it over like so, and these bags have they seal here, they have an adhesive already, so I figured out, okay, I'll go ahead and, you know, just use that just to try to keep it clean. I wanted this to be as pristine as possible because, you know, part of what's fun about it is the presentation, of course. We all like pretty packages, right? I think that's common in this for those of us who enjoy different kinds of crafts and things. I think there's a slight obsession with presentation. I don't know, but I'm just as guilty of it, so I get it. So I decided also to use this beautiful gold washi tape that I have, and I'm going to show you how else I used it in a moment, but I figured I will put that on the back just to kind of show where that will open. And just because I wanted it to be pretty on the back as well as on the front. So I just cut that to measure there, like that. And then in the front, I just kind of wiggled that to move it a little, move it up a little bit. And not that this is going to move anywhere, but just for, again, just for the sake of presentation. There we go. I went ahead and took the same washi, I lined it up. I've just used the grid on my cutting board here to line that up. And it's not absolutely perfect, but neither is anything else, so it's pretty close. So I went ahead and then folded that over, and I'm showing this also because you know, part of this is to use your supplies, and a lot of people ask, you know, how do you use washi tape? What's the use of it? I like several. I like to use it, and I think there's several different applications to washi tape. So that would be one of them, just to, you know, add a little touch of something on a bag. And then the next thing that I did was that I made the toppers with this beautiful die combination that I have here. It came with about, I think, 4 or 5 dies, I can't remember now, but you can use them separately or together. The inlay part here only cuts what you see here, which is the filigree, and then the outer one cuts the shape. So I used those together, and then what I did was I layered them. I layered that piece with a piece of that vellum that has the it has the glitter in it. And then I also made a little card out of the outer one here, just this one. So I'm hoping I'm in frame showing you guys all this stuff. But what I did was I used this one here with a folded piece of white paper. And I think most of you are familiar with that, but you basically would take a piece of cardstock, fold it in half, as you see here. You fold it in half, and then you place the die on top, just leaving a tiny little bit of it overlapping just on the one top, and then when you run it through the machine, it'll make a pretty little card. And then you can use that. However, what I decided to do was to take my crop dial, and this will cut through. So I just poked a hole here and here. The reason being that I then took, let's see here, took adhesive and just placed it on the very edge there of the bag. And then same thing on the back. And this is double-sided adhesive. You guys know where this is going, but before I even placed that in there, what I wanted to do was I took a piece of, this is some, what is this called? This is just ribbon that's, let's see here, polyester, I guess. Yeah. And it's in a really beautiful off-white color that matches everything else. And what I did was that I ran it through the back, like so. And I made it a little bit long on purpose. So this is about 24 inches long, I think, is what I measured out. Okay. And then I made these tags out of chipboard. And what I did was I put gesso on them, and then I put oxide ink on top of that for this very kind of antique-y looking color. I stamped the medallion on there with VersaFine, or no, I stamped it with black ink, and it's it was Ranger pigment ink. So I used that. And then as far as the colors that I used, here it is. I apologize, I should have had that out. Nope, it was not this one. Anyway, I used oxide inks, and I think I used two different ones. Maybe I'll list them on my blog. And then I went ahead and hand wrote the names of the participants that these will be going to. And then I embossed with a stamp and gold embossing powder the little dots and the filigree there, or whatever you would call that. So I decided that those would go along with the packaging, of course. And I thought it would be cute. Oh, and then my information, paints and glitter, with a little splot of paint and glitter on the back there, went along with the tag. Okay, so I just fed the ribbon through the back like this. And I can use my pokey tool there to bring that forward. I don't know if that's the name of that tool, but there we go. And I'm sorry if it seems redundant that I give so much information, but I know that some of the people who watch my videos are new to mixed media, or you know, these types of projects. So I like to give details because I'm one that that's how I learn. So now as far as this is going to be going on the topper as well. And what I did was I took that same washi tape and I put it on, I'll show you. I put it on a piece of black cardstock. So I just ran a bunch of washi tape on it, and then I ran that through my spellbinders with the die to cut them out, and it ends up looking like this. It almost looks like leather, which I thought was really cool. So that's the word smile, and that goes with the whole theme also of the Kodak, of the camera, the vintage camera, because of course, you know, when you go to take a picture, everyone always tells you to smile. So that's going to go here. And I think, yeah. Well, it's not exactly the same as all the other ones, but that's okay. Then I tied a little bow like this. Nothing too serious, right? So now that that's ready, what I did was I went ahead and took the adhesive off of this so that I could place it inside of my topper. And it's got the person's name on there. And now I can place this however. I'm thinking right about there is fine. Actually, let me see here. So I have one already ready here. I want them all to look the same. So I think I did it all right about that height. And this is where this grid comes in handy, of course. Anything I can do to help myself. Oh, because I'm sometimes helpless. All right, so, but not hopeless. I need all the help I can get, but I have all the hope I can ever have. So just throwing that out there. All right, so here we go. Here's a finished one. I also added, you know, the little gems on there, and so this is what my packaging will look like with all of the ATCs. I'll finish this one off with some bling and it'll be good to go. So thank you so much if you watched the video till the end. Like I said before, I will have the other video showing you how to do the print and cut with the Cricut Design Space, and